Why cortisol spikes at 3 a.m. during the night, sleep science explains. If you struggle with insomnia or frequent night awakenings, if you wake up in the middle of the night with a racing mind, if your body feels tired but your brain feels alert, sleep science explains this is not weakness, and in many cases, it is not traditional insomnia at all. It is a biological response happening inside the brain. When the brain stays active at night, something specific occurs. The nervous system does not fully shift into rest mode. Melatonin release becomes unstable or incomplete. Cortisol begins rising earlier than it should. The circadian rhythm loses its nighttime signal. The sleep switch never fully locks into place, and deep sleep becomes difficult to sustain. This is not a lack of effort on your part. It is not imaginary anxiety or overthinking. It is not something you caused by doing life wrong. It is a real brain safety response studied in sleep science. This pattern has a name and a clear mechanism. Experts explain it as a protective brain state, and understanding that mechanism changes everything that follows. I'm Dr. Sarah, a sleep medicine specialist with a background in psychiatry. For many years, I've worked with people who feel exhausted every day, people who do everything right and still can't sleep well. They follow routines, avoid screens, and try to relax, yet the nights remain restless and unpredictable. Not because they are doing something wrong, but because their brain is responding in a specific way. Over and over, I hear the same sentence in my office. I'm exhausted, but when I lie down, my brain won't shut off. The body feels heavy and ready for rest. Muscles are tired from the day. Eyes feel strained and sleepy, but inside the head, everything stays active. Thoughts, alertness, and awareness remain switched on. This is what sleep science calls a hyperactive brain at night. The nervous system never fully transitions into rest mode. The sleep switch tries to engage but cannot lock in. Melatonin may be present, but its signal feels weak. Cortisol does not fully power down. The brain stays partially alert by default, and true deep sleep struggles to stabilize. As a result, sleep becomes lighter than it should be. Small noises or internal signals cause awakenings. The night feels fragmented instead of continuous. Sleep cycles shorten and lose depth. The deep sleep signal fades too soon, and the body never fully restores overnight. Morning arrives with fatigue instead of relief. Many people assume this means something is wrong with them. They think they are broken or too anxious to sleep. They blame stress, personality, or lack of discipline. But studies show this pattern is extremely common. It appears across ages, lifestyles, and backgrounds. It follows biology, not character flaws, and that distinction matters more than most people realize. This is not your fault. It is not a failure of willpower or mindset. It is the brain acting in a protective way, a brain safety response that stayed active too long. Once this is understood, the fear around sleep begins to soften, and when fear softens, the brain becomes more receptive, which leads directly into what is actually happening at night. During the night, the brain is designed to follow a precise rhythm. Melatonin should remain steady to support deep sleep. Cortisol should stay low to keep the body in rest mode. The nervous system should shift fully into recovery. The circadian rhythm should reinforce nighttime safety signals, and the deep sleep signal should remain stable for hours. This is how normal restorative sleep stays intact. In the first part of the night, this process often works well. Sleep feels deeper and more continuous. The body begins repairing and restoring itself. Brain activity slows down in the right regions. Hormones follow their natural nighttime pattern. The sleep switch appears to be engaged. Everything seems aligned for proper rest. But studies show that for many people, this balance breaks later, often around the early morning hours near 3 a.m. Melatonin signaling starts to weaken too soon. Cortisol begins rising earlier than it should. The nervous system shifts subtly towards alertness. The brain senses a change in internal conditions, and sleep depth begins to fade without warning. This cortisol spike is not random or accidental. It is closely tied to the brain's safety monitoring system. When cortisol rises, alertness quietly increases. The brain starts scanning instead of resting. Breathing may become slightly lighter, heart rate can shift without being noticed, and the mind becomes easier to wake. At this point, the hyperactive brain at night takes over. The sleep switch no longer holds its position. The deep sleep signal becomes unstable. Even small internal or external triggers cause awakening. The brain moves closer to consciousness, not because of stress or worry alone, but because safety signals feel incomplete. This does not happen because you did something wrong. It is not caused by weak discipline or poor habits alone. It happens when the brain does not feel safe enough to stay asleep. This brain safety response activates automatically. The body follows the brain's lead every time. Understanding why the brain makes this decision is critical, and that leads directly to the hidden mechanism behind it. This state has a specific name in sleep science. It is called the Neural Sleep Inhibition Response. It does not mean the brain is damaged or broken. It means the brain is prioritizing protection over rest. This response activates quietly and automatically. Most people are never told it exists, yet it explains many nighttime sleep disruptions. In this state, the brain remains in nighttime vigilance. It keeps monitoring instead of fully resting, even when the body is physically exhausted, even when sleep pressure is high. The nervous system does not fully downshift. The brain stays partially alert by design, and true deep sleep struggles to stabilize. This is not a malfunction of sleep itself. It is a brain safety response doing its job. The brain believes vigilance is still required, so it limits how deeply the body can rest. Cortisol stays more responsive than it should. Melatonin signals feel weaker to the system. The circadian rhythm loses its nighttime authority. Experts in sleep health explain that this response is common. It appears across different ages and lifestyles. It does not depend on personality or mental strength. It follows predictable biological patterns, and studies show it is not permanent. When safety signals are restored, the response softens. The brain gradually allows deeper sleep again. Understanding this mechanism builds real confidence because it replaces confusion with clarity. Nothing is wrong with you as a person. Your brain is responding to signals it perceives. The next question becomes obvious and important. What signals is the brain responding to at night, and why do those signals get misread in the first place? Some people wake up suddenly around 3 a.m., others struggle for hours just to fall asleep. Some sleep through the night but wake up exhausted. The experiences look different on the surface. The timing of the disruption may change. The symptom may feel unique to each person, but sleep science shows the root cause is shared. The clock hour itself is not the real issue. Neither is the specific sleep complaint. What matters is what the brain is doing underneath. At night, the brain constantly evaluates safety. It checks internal signals from the body. It monitors hormones, breathing, and nervous system tone, and it decides how deeply sleep is allowed to go. When those signals feel unstable, the brain reacts, even without any real danger around it. Even in a quiet, dark, comfortable bedroom, the brain may still sense uncertainty. This uncertainty is not conscious fear. It is a biological calculation happening silently, and it can trigger nighttime alertness. At that point, the brain shifts into protection mode. It raises vigilance just enough to stay responsive. Cortisol becomes easier to release. Melatonin loses part of its influence. The sleep switch struggles to stay engaged. the deep sleep signal weakens too early, and sleep becomes easier to interrupt. This is when the neural sleep inhibition response activates. It does not care about the clock on the wall. It responds only to perceived safety. For some, this shows up as a 3 a.m. awakening. For others, it prevents sleep from starting at all. For others, it allows sleep but blocks restoration. Different patterns, same biological response. The brain is not trying to harm you. It is trying to protect you through vigilance. This brain safety response overrides fatigue every time. It explains why effort alone does not fix sleep. It also explains why habits sometimes help and sometimes fail. To change this pattern, the signals must change first, and that raises a critical question about what those signals are. Most sleep solutions focus on surface-level behaviors. They emphasize strict routines and bedtime rules. They encourage controlling thoughts or quieting the mind. They rely heavily on discipline and consistency. All of these can be helpful to a point, but they often fail to address the deeper issue. The brain's safety system remains untouched. Routines can support the circadian rhythm. Calming thoughts can reduce mental stimulation. Willpower can help maintain healthy habits, yet none of these directly reset the brain's safety response. If the brain still feels uncertain at night, it will stay partially alert regardless of effort. Biology always overrides intention during sleep. This is why many people feel frustrated. They do everything they are told to do. They follow the advice perfectly for weeks, yet the 3 a.m. awakenings continue, or the sleep remains light and unrefreshing. The problem was never commitment. The problem was signal mismatch. Without restoring the right internal signals, the nervous system cannot fully downshift. Melatonin cannot exert its full calming effect. Cortisol remains too easy to activate. The circadian rhythm loses authority at night. The sleep switch becomes unstable, and deep sleep cannot anchor properly. Traditional advice rarely explains this connection. It treats sleep as a behavior to be managed, not as a biological state to be allowed. Sleep science explains this difference clearly. The brain must feel safe before it can rest. No technique can override that requirement. Safety signals must come first. Until those signals are restored, the neural sleep inhibition response stays active. The brain remains on nighttime watch. Effort continues to feel wasted. Understanding this shifts the entire approach. It moves the focus from forcing sleep to supporting the brain's natural decision to rest. Here is the good news most people are never told. Sleep science does not see this state as permanent. Studies show the brain is plastic and adaptable. It constantly learns from the signals it receives. This means nighttime alertness is not fixed forever. The brain can relearn that night is safe, and when it does, sleep changes naturally. The brain does not need to be forced to sleep. It needs to feel secure enough to allow sleep. Safety is the true gatekeeper of deep rest. When safety signals increase, vigilance decreases. The nervous system begins to downshift. The brain's safety response slowly relaxes, and the night regains its restorative role. When the right signals are restored, biology responds. Cortisol stops rising too early in the morning hours. Its curve returns to a healthier rhythm. Melatonin becomes more stable and effective. The circadian rhythm strengthens its nighttime authority. The body receives a clearer message to rest, and internal noise begins to quiet. This change directly affects sleep depth. The deep sleep signal starts appearing again. Sleep cycles lengthen instead of breaking apart. The sleep switch holds its position longer. Awakenings become less frequent and less abrupt. The brain stays offline for longer stretches. restoration becomes possible again. This is why effort is not the solution. You cannot command the brain into deep sleep, but you can influence the signals it trusts. When those signals feel consistent and supportive, the neural sleep inhibition response softens. The brain reduces its nighttime surveillance, and sleep begins to feel natural again. This shift creates a new kind of desire, not to knock yourself out at night, but to support the conditions sleep depends on. It is not about forcing sleep to happen. It is about allowing the brain to choose sleep. That distinction changes how solutions are designed, and it opens the door to a very different approach. The solution is not sedation. It is not shutting the brain down by force. It is not overpowering the nervous system. Those approaches silence symptoms temporarily, but they do not resolve the underlying signal problem. Sleep science points in a different direction, one that works with the brain, not against it. True improvement begins by reducing vigilance, specifically by lowering the neural sleep inhibition response. This helps the brain exit nighttime watch mode. As vigilance decreases, rest becomes permissible. The brain no longer feels the need to stay alert. It stops scanning for threats that are not there, and sleep depth can begin to return. This process starts with nervous system support at night. Calming signals must reach the brain consistently. Breathing, temperature, and internal chemistry matter. The brain listens closely to these cues. They tell it whether the environment is safe. When those cues improve, vigilance fades. The brain's safety response slowly stands down. Internal safety signals are especially important. The brain trusts internal signals more than advice. Hormone timing sends powerful messages. Melatonin stability communicates nighttime safety. Lower nighttime cortisol reinforces rest mode. Together, they strengthen the circadian rhythm, and they support the sleep switch naturally. This approach also respects the body's biology. It does not fight the circadian rhythm. It works with natural timing and cycles. It supports what the brain already wants to do: rest, repair, and recover at night. Doctor-approved approaches emphasize this alignment because the brain responds best to cooperation. When these elements come together correctly, the brain does not need instructions. It does not need to be forced into sleep. It recognizes the right conditions on its own, and once safety is established, sleep follows. Understanding this changes how support is designed, which leads directly to how this approach is applied in practice. There is now a natural form of support designed for this exact situation. It was created to work with the brain, not against it. Its role is not to shut the system down. Its role is to support the signals the brain already understands. Sleep science explains that cooperation works better than force. This support follows that principle carefully, and it fits into the body's normal nighttime biology. This support was designed to help melatonin work properly, not by overstimulating it, but by supporting its natural nighttime release. When melatonin signals are clearer, the brain feels calmer. The nervous system receives a stronger message to rest. The circadian rhythm regains nighttime authority, and the sleep switch becomes easier to maintain. It also focuses on cortisol timing, not eliminating cortisol, which the body needs, but helping prevent early spikes during the night. When cortisol stays lower at the right hours, the brain is less likely to shift into alert mode. Nighttime vigilance decreases naturally, and the neural sleep inhibition response begins to soften. Another key role is supporting the exit from nighttime alertness. This means helping the brain leave watch mode, not by suppression, but by reassurance. Internal signals tell the brain it is safe. The brain's safety response no longer needs to dominate. Deep rest becomes more accessible again, and sleep feels less fragile. It is important to be clear about what this support does. It does not force sleep to happen. It does not sedate the nervous system. It does not override the brain's control. It supports the natural process instead, aligned with sleep biology and rhythm, safe, complementary, and respectful of physiology. This type of support is available for those who want it. You can find it in the first pinned comment below this video. Many people choose to combine it with healthy sleep habits, not as a replacement, but as reinforcement, because the brain responds best to consistency. What matters most is how the support is used, and that leads into what comes next. You are not broken. Nothing is wrong with your ability to sleep. Your brain is not defective or weak. It is simply stuck in a neural sleep inhibition response, a protective state that stayed active too long, one that prioritizes vigilance over rest, and one that can be changed with the right signals. When the correct signals are sent consistently, the brain no longer needs to stay on guard. Nighttime alertness begins to fade. The sleep switch becomes easier to maintain. Deep sleep no longer feels fragile. Rest stops feeling like a constant struggle, and sleep starts to feel natural again. This shift does not happen through force. It happens through communication with the brain. The nervous system responds to what it perceives. Hormones follow the signals they receive. Melatonin stabilizes when safety is clear. Cortisol settles when vigilance is no longer required. The circadian rhythm regains its nighttime authority, and the sleep switch becomes easier to maintain. Most people never learn which signals matter most. They focus on habits, timing, or discipline, but miss the deeper biological cues entirely. These cues determine whether the brain stays asleep or whether it re-enters alert mode at night. Understanding them changes how sleep is approached and why many efforts fail despite good intentions. In the next video, already pinned at the end of this one, I explain exactly which signals the brain needs at night, the signals that keep deep sleep stable until morning, and why one of them is almost always ignored, even by people who follow all the right advice. This piece completes the picture you're building now, and it clarifies what truly keeps the brain asleep. Watch that next video right after this one. It connects directly to what you've just learned. Each part builds on the last. The brain responds best to clear sequences, not isolated tips or random strategies. Once the full pattern is visible, things click, and your brain will recognize it immediately.